I want to talk about the moment that things shifted in me, and I didn't realize it at the time, but during the pandemic, there was a moment when I just felt out of body. Like I felt disconnected from reality, and I had this deep desire to go home to St. Vincent. I wanted to feel grounded, and I didn't feel grounded. And at the time, I didn't know what that meant spiritually. I just felt disconnected from reality. And it was very challenging for me because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand it. I just felt suspended in air almost. And that was the shift for me. I think things started shifting after that, and I just little by little started like lessening my attachment to the life that I've always known, and I started feeling more and more disconnected from that. So for me, as I navigated my emotions and all of the things that came up for me during that time, it was really challenging to be in an environment that felt so unfamiliar, even though it was the only thing I knew. And I felt like there was so much that I was dependent on that I wasn't able to grasp for. And it was really challenging because I was looking for help and I didn't receive any because they didn't understand what was happening. They just weren't capable, didn't have the capacity, didn't know how to help me, and that made me feel even worse. So I just kept like reaching for help and looking for help and understanding, needing people to be there for me, and they just weren't able to be there. And I think I spiraled after that. Like I just started losing parts of myself that I had cultivated for my whole life. And once everything started pulling away and falling apart and crumbling, I lost it. That's when I really lost it because I couldn't grasp anything. Like I was just spiraling. And the people in my life didn't fully understand what was happening because I don't know. I guess they didn't see the signs or they didn't fully understand, and I don't know. I did my best to explain. I did my best to ask for the help. I didn't know what was happening either. And when I said things like I'm not okay, and it wasn't taken seriously. It was just like I felt it. I was like, I'm not okay. I don't know what this is, but I'm not okay. And I wasn't met with much, support. They're just like, oh, you'll be fine. I remember saying, I don't feel like I have a purpose. Like, what is my purpose here? And the response was like, you're a mom. I'm like, a mom? That can't be my purpose. And it was just so many signs that proved to me that there was no real connection, and the lack of support that was offered or available to me was partly the reason why I ended up where I ended up. And ultimately, and I'm not blaming this, I'm not blaming anyone, I'm not saying that anyone did anything wrong. Everyone was dealing with their own stuff, everyone has their own capacity and whatever. I just recognize that everything that I kept reaching for to grab onto to help me fell short. Like the strings were just not attached to anything. I just kept pulling at stuff, like hoping and praying, looking for, and nothing was attached to anything. And I ended up just falling. I just felt like I was just like free falling. And I didn't understand what was happening. I was so confused. I mean, in hindsight, now that I'm here, I recognize that everything was happening for me to awaken, right? I had the spiritual awakening. I recognized that who I am and how everything that I had created in that old life was not really of me. It was, the wounded child and all the fear and the scarcity and the lack and the survival, and all those things were what I used to create this life, to protect the scared, insecure child that was hiding behind all those things. And I needed to let go of those things to find myself and reconnect and rediscover who I really am. And if I kept those things intact, I would have never emerged from that false life, false identity that I was living in. And it was painful. It wasn't easy. It was very challenging and it was messy, and I'm still technically going through a lot of it and recovering from a lot of it, but I'm grateful and I'm very excited for the life that I can now create from the most authentic version of me, where I have this level of understanding and this level of awareness that helps me navigate my life and keep me grounded in self, right? So, I don't know. I say all that to say that if things feel like they're falling apart, if you feel disconnected from whatever it is that you're currently or you were used to being attached to or connected to, this might be your sign that things are shifting to realign you to your true self and the real timeline that can create something that's authentically you. So keep going. You got this.